thank you. This is the Public Safety Beer and Regulated Beverages Committee meeting, September 21st, and it's 5 p.m. We'll do a quick attendance. Chair is here. Councilmember Johnston is here. Councilmember Porterfield is not here. Councilmember Pulley is here. Councilmember Roberts is here. Rosenberg is here. Swoop is here. Taylor is here. All right, we have a quorum, so we will get started. We do have a consent agenda, and I will start off with the consent agenda, and if anything needs to be pulled off, just please let me know. Starting with the consent agenda, Resolution RS 2021-1143 by Councilmember Sledge exempts Emery Wood Fire located at 2500 12th Avenue North from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Also on consent, Resolution 2021-1144 by Councilmember Sledge exempts Fayette La Force Brewing Company located at 1414 3rd Avenue South, 101 from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a beer permit. Also on consent, RS 2021-1153 Toombs Gamble approves the application for Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metro Police Department for specialized training and equipment to ensure personnel maintain needed certifications for criminal investigation and criminal crime reduction initiatives. Also on consent, RS 2021-1154 Toombs Gamble Welch accepts the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metro Nashville Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Unit to utilize funding to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus. And that is all I have on consent.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, thank you. All those in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Now we will move to the next item. RS 2021-1150, Gamble Johnson Toombs appropriates $4,745,500 in American Recovery Plan Act funds from Fund 30216 to the Nashville Fire Department to be used for light fleet vehicles and equipment. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Properly moved and seconded. Open for discussion. I see Chief Swan is here. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Chief Swan, is there anything you want to add?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity to speak on this subject matter. I think it goes without saying the condition that our light fleet is in. This will totally replace all of our fleet that's dated. We've got some fleet that's 10 years old. We've got the oldest fleet in Metro. So again, I just appreciate this. This will put us where we need to be and be able to perform the task that's expected from us. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, with no further discussion, we'll take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Yep.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion approved. Thank you.
You have 8 now.
Yes, thank you. All right, next on the agenda, RS 2021-1151, Toombs Gamble accepts a port security grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to the Metro Office of Emergency Management for equipment to enhance current land-based and maritime response capabilities.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. And we have a amendment by Councilmember Mendez. Ms. Zeitlin.
He's not here, but anybody can offer the amendment.
I'll offer it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm happy to give a short description. So on the grant summary sheet, it makes a reference to a request from MNPD for funding. That was in the grant application, but it's not funded in the grant that was actually, received by Metro. So this just clarifies that in the recital.
Okay, so it's a clerical thing taken out, that just making clear that the grant only supports the fire department.
Correct.
Products. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
We
thank
need
you.
to move the amendment first.
I'm sorry.
That was the amendment. Now I need to vote on it.
Now we need
Right,
to
good catch.
move the bill. So now we'll move the bill as amended. So moved. I'll move the bill.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next, RS 2021-1152, Johnston Gamble appropriates $3,148,980 in American Recovery Plan Act funds from COVID American Rescue Plan Fund 30216 to the Office of Family Safety for the Metro Government to be used to address increased demand for therapy and services for victims of abuse, human trafficking, and interpersonal violence.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Discussion. Councilmember Johnson, you want to?
Yeah, I will actually, I mean, I can talk about it, but we've got plenty of people here that can talk about it much more. So if you want to,
Sure, happy
Speak.
to, thank you. So
Sure.
I'm Diane Lance, I'm the department head for Metro's Office of Family Safety, and this is Nina Youssef, who is our new finance officer for our department. So I want to make sure everyone got to see him, because he'll probably be here on some grants in the future. So what we've asked for under this, the American Rescue Plan is just, the recovery plan is, trying to divide up, there are two areas. So one is for Office of Family Safety, and the other is to help our nonprofit partners. So for the Office of Family Safety, one of the first categories is for case managers, and that is the $270,000 per year. And that is really to address the increase in the number of clients during COVID, as well as the 71% increase in sessions people are coming. There really is a gap between crisis intervention and therapy, and we're trying to fill that gap. So crisis intervention is a one-time, we safety plan, danger assess, we do your order of protection. Therapy is obviously a long-time thing. Case management is you might need 5 or 6 times with us to figure out everything you need to really get you and your family on your feet. And that's a gap citywide for victims of interpersonal violence. So that's what those 4 positions are for. The second one is $100,000, which is emergency funds. That is, in my head, I call it sort of a slush fund, which is a fund where instead of my staff digging in their own pockets to help someone with the bus money, or they didn't have money to park below for court, or they need some money for food that we don't have in our supplies, that type of funds for that. The other categories are really for our nonprofit partners. You know, we manage a pretty robust community partnership fund where we do small grants, very $50,000 grants to a few nonprofits. What we found is that there's a tremendous wait list across the community for therapy. And they started to come to us about that for the police department, which is one of the few free places you can get therapy if you're a victim of interpersonal violence and other types of crime. Their wait list is a month for an English speaker, 3 months for a Spanish speaker. The Nashville Children's Alliance, I think it is the only agency that provides absolutely free counseling to therapy for victims of child sexual and severe physical abuse. 9-month waiting list for English speaking, 6 months for Spanish. Family and Children's Services has a 2-month wait list. Sexual Assault Center has a 4 to 6 month wait list for adults, longer if you're Spanish speaking and longer if you're a child. And the Mary Parish Center is just having trouble meeting their current demand. So we really want to be able to replicate that grant type program and get them to hire more therapists, more translators to work with those therapists to meet this need. And then lastly is Agape, who provides all of our after hours order protection assistance Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday. If you come to Nashville's Family Safety Center after normal working hours, you don't get our staff, you get Agape's, the nonprofit staff, and they only have 1 person per shift, and their peak hours late at night sometimes and on the weekend. And so an hour order protection takes about an hour and a half to do it right. And so without corners being cut, you will be waiting for an hour and a half with your children for an order protection. That's just not okay. And so that would be to get them, the staff, to be able to do that. But the biggest bulk of this ask is for therapists. We've asked for that total that is really for 2 years. That's why it's in the $3 million range, because you really can't hire anyone for 1 year.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Diane.
Really appreciate it.
So I just wanted to reiterate that she's got 4 case managers for her department, and a little bit of a slush fund, and then 16 and a half positions, plus 2 positions at Agape's for a total of 2 years. So I would move the approval.
Any other comments, questions? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, thank you. We have 9 now. All right, and moving on to bills on second reading.
I think we have 10.
I think we're at 10.
Oh, we do have 10.
Oh, we have 10 now? Okay, 10, right.
People keep trickling in.
All right, bills on second reading, BL 2021-866, Parker, Evans, and Sarara amends the Metro Code of Laws to prohibit passengers in a motor vehicle from consuming or possessing an alcoholic beverage or beer during the operation of the vehicle.
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion. Mr. Parker.
I'm sorry. Other people some running.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so this bill, it really came from kind of a broader look about policy. Looking at some issues we have with reckless and distracted driving, the massive increase in road rage incidents that we've had, and of course the constant littering. But as I would consider it and go back and forth with staff, it kind of got roped into the transportainment regulation conversation. And this presently is one of the sort of regulatory levers that we do have affecting that space. And as my intent tonight is to defer this 2 meetings, and that's because as this bill has come forward, I've had conversations with stakeholders in Metro, with the state, and with transportation industry representatives as well, and it does seem like there might be some appetite for a stronger, more specific regulatory scheme in that particular space. So I'm hoping that those conversations continue to advance, and we can consider this bill again at the second meeting in October. So does anybody have any specific questions for me about this legislation?
The only thing I would say is we've had I think Councilmember Porterfield, a similar bill that came through us, and it might be wise to somehow or another understand the path that bill took, because it took a bunch of turns along the way before she ended up withdrawing the bill, as I recall. So be interesting to revisit the path that bill took, and might help you along the way as you move this forward.
Thank you. Yeah. I think the major distinction between that bill, I do recall that bill, the major distinction between that bill and this one is this one applies specifically to motor vehicles, whereas that one was more in the pedestrian space.
It was. You're right about that.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would appreciate the committee's support on a deferral motion. Also, of course, bring it back here, 2 meetings, so to the second meeting in October, hear it again.
So moved.
Second.
Next.
Motion, since he's not on the committee. But yes.
I was going to make the motion for a 2-meeting deferral
Can I just ask
at the
one
behest of the
question?
sponsor.
Would this apply to for-hire vehicles?
As written, it would apply across the board to motor vehicles.
So what's the use of having a driver?
All right, so motion is to defer for 2 meetings. All those in favor? Aye. Any against? All right, and last on our agenda, BL 2021-870, Toombs Gamble approves a documentary film agreement between the Metro government and Eureka Entertainment LLC.
So moved.
Thank you. Open for discussion, and we have Judge Calloway here. Thank you for joining us. Do you want to tell us about this documentary film and agreement?
Absolutely. This is a film that is being produced by Marshall Goldberg. He is a world-known producer. He has a contract with the Oprah Network he picked Nashville because of literally in a sense, our progressiveness and the things that we have been able to accomplish in some of the criminal justice reform. And this is going to be a film that highlights the issues in criminal justice. All of the players involved are all on board. That includes the sheriff, the district attorney, the public defender, all of the criminal court judges and general session judges, and of course, us in juvenile court. They would spotlight different folks going through the system from beginning till however long it takes them to film it. They'll be here until the end of December as contracted, and it'll probably get aired sometime next year in August, September of next year. We think it'll start a great conversation, and it gives Nashville a chance to be on the national spotlight as the need for criminal justice reform. And so we're excited about the opportunity. I'm gonna be the star.
Well deserved, well deserved.
I know, right?
Awesome, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
As somebody who's been in this business for 35 years, I've never walked into a city and gotten all that this agreement actually defines for free.
It does define a lot.
What are they paying for?
So I don't believe they're paying anything for it.
Yeah, didn't think so. Just wanted that to be out there in the open.
What's the fiscal note to us?
There's nothing.
That's zero cost to us, but I can tell you right now, the rights that this thing grants on behalf are from Metro to Eureka Entertainment LLC and Anon and the other associated parties with this group. That has a big price sticker to it.
Have we compared other agreements like this to see what they have had to pay before to have such access to our system, or was it just carte blanche?
I believe it was just carte blanche. I'm not sure. As far as I know, it was just an agreement that we all met with Mr. Goldberg and discussed all of the issues that we had and agreed on doing this. I don't believe there was any investigation of how much other cities may have paid or anything for that. I mean, I think that's
So the in-kind benefit is to the city is to be able to be a front runner, leader, and showcase the work that we're doing in juvenile justice reform.
Not just juvenile, it primarily be the criminal justice reform.
Yeah, and Judge, I'm not against this,
Oh, yes, I understand what you're saying.
but I've written so many of these agreements in my life, it's stunning. Whoever wrote this one did a really good job, by the way. I commend their attorneys. I want it to be known that we're not making any money on this, and we should be.
I think we'll make money in the sense that it'll highlight Nashville.
Goodwill is not cash in the bank.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's probably modeled after, so there's been a lot of these going around nationally in the educational space.
Yes.
But Memphis, Shelby County also did a similar project like this maybe about 10 years ago when it was highlighting their efforts against gang violence.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was no cost to the city as well.
All right, we ready to take a vote? All those in favor? Aye. Any against? All right, thank you. Thank you all.
We're back down to 8.
Appreciate all of your support and attendance. I guess this may be my last public safety chair.
No, Susan.
Thank you all. Thank you
You did
all.
a great job.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you.